Welcome to Atlanta, about a 2-hour drive from Clemson University. Dabo Swinney's Tigers made the trip as one of the great stories in college football. Will they drive home tonight with their perfect season intact?
Clemson has knocked off the reigning national champion.
I couldn't think of a better place to end the streak in Death Valley.
Boyd gonna throw near sideline, and there he goes. First for a hold, the 25-20, touchdown. Watkins field has a seam to the right, and the Tigers bolt back in front.
Clemson's powerful offense is fueled by quarterback Tajh Boyd and freshman sensation Sammy Watkins. Today, the task for rival Georgia Tech: stop the Tigers' run to an ACC title and a dream season. It's the ACC on ESPN. Welcome to Saturday Night Football, presented by Southwest Airlines. The Clemson Tigers are 8-0 tonight, one of their biggest remaining tests in their quest for perfection. Let's check the standings. Clemson, the only undefeated team in the Atlantic Division, and remains on pace to make it to the ACC Championship game. In the Coastal Division, Georgia Tech has a lot to say about its own destiny. Next up, division-leading Virginia Tech a week from Thursday. Good evening, everybody. Mike Patrick, Craig James. It's great to have you with us. Clemson is one of a handful of undefeated teams still left in the country, so Clemson fans are beginning to ask, what happens if we run the table? What does happen?
Pretty good football team. They have the attention of the country now, and what I'm looking for is to see how they handle the fame and the spotlight. All of that young football talent on this team, I look forward to seeing how they handle the spotlight.
Clemson has two legitimate Heisman Trophy contenders right now, but these guys were so far off the radar at the beginning of the season because no one outside of Clemson, South Carolina knew who they were.
They own the radar now. Tajh Boyd, Sammy Watkins. Sammy Watkins caught my attention. Unlike most who've ever entered the game of college football, his explosiveness, his ability to electrify his teammates has really been phenomenal. He just takes the ball out of the air. What hands he has, the discipline, the ability to jump at its highest point and catch the football. His ability to use his hands at the line of scrimmage when you try to bump him and work him, throws off the defender and goes and gets the football. Fearless competitor. Watch the speed on the top of your left screen. He gets up to 18, 22 miles per hour. He can run away from you. I wanted to come on and say, hey, welcome to the Georgia State Track Meet Championships. We might see a very fast sprinter on the field tonight.
Georgia Tech's best defense tonight might well be its offense. Run the option, shorten the game.
Run balance. You hear offensive talk all the time about we got to run the ball, throw the ball. It's running inside and outside. They have to have balance. They've been missing that. They want to limit the Clemson possessions tonight to 10. Unlike the 16 to 18 they normally have. If they can do that, they can have a chance.
Jen Brown will work the sidelines for us. She's down there right now with Dabo Swinney. Jen.
Coach, at 8-0, it's your best start since 2000. How are you keeping your players focused?
Just one day at a time, one game at a time. You know, we keep them busy. It's a process each week that we go through to try to prepare them to play a game, and that's really all we're doing. Nothing any different than 4-0 or 5-0 or 6-0.
Big game tonight. What was your message to the team in the locker room?
Well, my message is just go be special. You know, play with a confidence, play with a swagger like you belong in the elite of college football. That's where Clemson belongs, and we got to play that way.
All right, thanks, Coach. Mike?
Jen, thank you very much. Clemson defers after winning the toss. They will kick to Georgia Tech. Paul Johnson's ball club will send Orwin Smith and Roddy Jones deep. They are the A-backs in this option offense. What a night for a homecoming in Atlanta. And the kick goes out of bounds. A mistake to start the game for Clemson on special teams. And Georgia Tech will get to start at its own 40.
Yeah, I think Tevin Washington, Mike, has been hot and cold, and of late you can see that it has not been the same start that he experienced in the first 5 games. And this football game tonight, going against this Clemson defense, they're going to have to get back to that 57% pass completion. They're going to have the explosive plays because Clemson is feeling like they're an exclusive team.
The big plays have dried up, and they have to reemerge tonight, or they're not going to be able to move the ball. Smith and Jones on the wing. Quarterback keeper Washington dives and is stuffed at the line of scrimmage.
Well, our impact players tonight here, you know what, Mike? I think Orwin Smith, there are a number of rushers, but he has to get back close to the 12.3 average that he's been going with. And then on the outside, Stephen Hill. The last time we went into the game of theirs against NC State, he was hot. He's been cold lately. And then on defense, Brandon Thompson, that Clemson defensive line, they've got to push the line of scrimmage back to make the quarterback bow in the option game.
Washington looking to throw. Now he tries to take off. And that Clemson defense all over him. This was the concern for Paul Johnson. Do I try to throw the ball early and maybe get a big play? And if it doesn't work, I waste it down? That's what he was afraid of.
Well, you know what? There's a six-man front up against here. And the offensive linemen for Georgia Tech are not built to go against Andre Branch and Brandon Thompson in a pass rushing game.
No, this is a cut-blocking group of guys, and they've got to do that well. 2 plays, no yards for Georgia Tech. 3rd and 10. Sims is the back directly behind Washington. Straight back to throw against the 4-man rush. Pretty good protection. Now Washington takes off. Hiddesy's throwing, and it's incomplete, intended for Roddy Jones. So Georgia Tech tries to cross him up. They throw the ball 2 of the first 3 downs, and it's 3 and out.
I made the mention in our on-camera coming into this ball game, Georgia Tech and Paul Johnson wanted to limit Clemson from their traditional 16 to 18 possessions a game down to 10 because they want to keep it away from that high-powered offense. 3 and out's not going to get it done.
No. Sean Poole to kick to DeAndre Hopkins. Very dangerous guys on special teams, but they have had few opportunities because of kicks like that all year long. Either great kicks or very short kicks, or kicks that get a lot of roll. 43-yard punt, no return.
I think we ought to get the impact players out of the way before Clemson starts snapping it
hurriedly
in a hurry. I think Dwayne Allen, their tight end, 83 is outstanding. Might be the key to this deal. 5 touchdown receptions already. Sammy Watkins, Mr. Sammy Watkins on the outside. I can't wait to see him in person. And then on defense, Mr. Lewis Young. That corner was in our meetings yesterday, a very nice young man. They're going to try to redirect, jam, and hold up these wide receivers at the line of scrimmage tonight.
DJ Howard starts the game at running back in replace of the injured Andre Ellington. And Jeremiah Tajh, who was their leading tackler before he got hurt, comes in to lead the Georgia Tech defense. This guy's a key. They've got to have him play well tonight.
Now, you know what? This defense is led by their coordinator, Al Groh. You and I have known Al Groh a long time. He has a lot of experience. He knows how to get his guys in place. Can they make the plays in space?
Tajh Boyd, who replaced Kyle Parker, gives it off on the ground to DJ Howard, and Howard plunges ahead before Jason Peters takes him down.
Tajh Boyd is getting a lot of Heisman recognition, and rightfully so. We'll show you throughout the course of the evening how his numbers compare to some of the other great quarterbacks in the game today and some from the past. He's been hot and explosive, getting in the hands of the playmakers.
24 touchdown passes, only 3 picks. He leads the ACC in passing yards. He's got a 3rd and 5 here. Georgia Tech comes with the blitz. Watkins on the screen. Blockers in front. Craig showed you at the beginning of the game he can get up to a speed of 22 miles an hour running with the ball. My first car in college didn't go 22 miles an hour.
Yeah, I'm not sure mine does still. This guy is explosive. It can make you miss at the line of scrimmage, and a nice job of his teammates blocking, allowing that track speed to come into play.
First down at the 40. Watkins on the flanker reverse. Got him pretty well hemmed in. He lowers his shoulder, and he delivers the blow against Isaiah Johnson, the safety.
Al Groh has told his team, okay, fellas, Mr. Sammy Watkins is like a 200-meter champion out of Florida. That's thousands of people down there that he's outrun. We only have 100 to choose from. No one on this team can run with him, right? So take the right angles, intelligent angles, and get back when that ball is snapped.
When he's on the line of scrimmage as a receiver, they want to jam him. They don't want him getting that free release. Allen, the tight end, the guy who, if he comes out this year, is going to be the #1 tight end drafted in the NFL, according to most of the scouts. Jamia Thomas makes the tackle.
6'4", 255. He's what allows this offense to be powerful, not just a finesse passing football team.
Virginia Tech defensive coordinator Bud Foster labeled him the best player in the ACC. For Sammy Watkins and Tajh Boyd have also been labeled that. Here's the reverse, and it's Mike Bellamy, the youngster who can fly, coming out of the backfield. Got a good block from Philip Price, the left tackle.
Yeah, this is one of those nights where Georgia Tech is going to have to really fly to the original point of attack where the ball is headed. They can't afford to have the reverse of field because the foot speed's not there enough capable of catching these receivers and runners.
It's the tailback, DJ Howard, picks up a couple before he's pushed back. Cole Stout actually had a shot at the starting job until the summer when Boyd just exploded past everybody. Look at the number of plays. 14, 15, 16 plays better a game.
So that puts pressure on a defense physically and mentally. Most people talk about a defense getting tired, but you have to quickly adjust and line up right and think about your plays.
Already 10 plays on this drive. Boyd down the middle, tipped, and incomplete. Off the fingertips of Jerron Brown. Good job by Lewis Young, the corner. It turned out to be double coverage as he got to the end zone. Couldn't bring it in.
Yeah, just could not finish the play off. Normally a dependable receiver who makes those, especially on third down. Very, very good at that. Mr. Lou Young back there, backing up his confidence yesterday in the meeting.
Stuck his hands in there and kept it from being a touchdown. Now 3rd and long for Clemson. 4-man rush. Boyd with time, flushed out of the pocket, tripped, dives forward to the 16-yard line, maybe 2.5 yards shy of a first down.
Now here's a number that's big. Clemson's offense on 3rd and 5 or less, they convert 70% of the time. You've got to make sure they're 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, or you're in real trouble.
Yes, sir. Chandler Catanzaro will come on to try a 34-yard field goal. He is 13 out of 16 this year. Wind not a factor. And Catanzaro drills it right down the middle for his 14th field goal of the year. And Clemson gets 3 on its opening possession.
Taking off for Clemson, number 39.
Paul Johnson and Dabo Sweeney, 2 coaches who want this game desperately for different reasons. Georgia Tech to right the ship, Clemson to remain unbeaten. Smith and Jones deep to receive again. Orwin Smith, great speed, cuts it to the outside, takes it up near the 30. Number 17. Smith and Jones on the wings. In their terminology, they are called the A-backs. Here comes the option with Washington. He'll try to keep. And Clemson's defense is saying, you're not going to run that stuff. Jonathan Willard, trailing the play, made the tackle that looked very slow, Craig. Very slow developing.
Yeah, it has been slow, and a lot of that is because of plays just like there where you have the chop blocks by the offensive line, and it makes it all of a sudden 1st and 20, and that just doesn't work in this offense.
Illegal chop block, number 77, offense, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Now, Georgia Tech specializes in cut blocks, but a chop block is when one man is blocking high and another man comes in while he's still engaged and blocks low. And that is an illegal chop block.
And watch the timing of it. It's in the middle now of the screen of the offensive line. If there are 2 guys there, as you're mentioning, Mike, you cannot engage with them. And it happens so quickly. Uzi, he just was there with someone else, and it's a bang-bang block.
Boy, and defensive players just hate that. Fullback carry by Preston Lyons, only for a couple. Washington gives up the middle again to Lyons on the option. He only gets a couple. Craig, after that great start, Georgia Tech had teams started taking away the outside stuff and forced them to run up the middle, and it hasn't worked as well.
No, it hasn't. We'll try to show you tonight why it's not working. And a lot of that now is decision-making by Tevin Washington, the quarterback. He has to make the right decision at the line of scrimmage. Against Clemson, historically, this strong inside defensive line has pushed back and dominated the inside.
3rd and 18. Washington, he wants a screen as everybody's coming through, and he just throws it away. Brandon Thompson, number 98, led the charge, and this Clemson defensive line is indeed very stout. 2 of the top 3 tacklers on the entire team are defensive linemen. I don't know that we have ever seen that before.
I think the country looks at Clemson right now as being a football team really explosive on the offense, but nobody really knows for certain and can respect and appreciate how good they are defensively.
Poole to kick to Hopkins. They've given up a lot of points on occasion. Line drive kick, fair catch, signal for made at the 35. So Georgia Tech failing to move the ball on offense. Clemson's got it back when we return. You just saw 3 of the best active in pro sports Georgia Tech products. Chris Bosh of the Heat, Detroit Lions star Calvin Johnson, Yankee slugger Mark Teixeira, of course our buddy Nomar Garcia-Parra, also a Georgia Tech alum, an All-American shortstop here before going on to Major League Baseball. Boyd flanker screen to Watkins, and this time they have the All-American candidate in the backfield. Great play by Jamia Thomas, who recognized the formation immediately.
Well, Algro has preached all week in practice to stop the vertical entry, get up on the line of scrimmage, collision, redirect, be aggressive at the point of attack. You can't allow these Clemson receivers time to make someone miss because they will be gone.
That's the kind of defensive play Georgia Tech is desperate for, especially since their offense hasn't moved the ball. Boyd in trouble. Throws it away, and that didn't get back anywhere near the line of scrimmage. He got out of the pocket, but threw it poorly. Being chased by big T.J. Barnes at 342. He's got some hustle.
I've got T.J. at 347. Whatever the number, he was moving. Yeah, it's just a nice job here of secondary coverage, not giving an option for Tajh Boyd.
How'd you like to be a quarterback? You're being chased by a 342-pound guy, and he's gaining on you.
And great job jamming there again by Thomas. Secondary doing their job.
3rd and a mile. Boyd out in the flat. That's Howard out of the backfield, and Howard is flattened inside the 20. What a defensive stand for Georgia Tech. Let's see if that ball is incomplete or down. And they said he was down. Lewis Young came up from his corner spot to deliver a blow.
Well, he certainly is coming to the football. Nice job by Young. That ball is, I think that ball is out.
It is.
That ball there is certainly worth the review there, because that football, the play's dead. They blew it dead.
Rod Sweeting picked it up.
Ball's out.
After further review, the ruling is a fumble with an immediate recovery by Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech takes over. Tevin Washington on the keeper. Dives toward the 10. Now, here's the rule that let him have it. It was an obvious fumble as you looked at the replay. They cannot give him the touchdown because they ruled him down. But they can give him the recovery if it's recovered immediately, and it was.
Yeah, it was the right call, the right decision there. It's a great job by Georgia Tech's defense making a play, and the play was made because it was 3rd and long.
2nd and 2. Sims, the B-back, down near the 6. It'll be a 1st and goal.
Number 7, David Sims on the carry.
You just go back and you look, and one more time, that ball is clearly out before the elbow and the body goes down. It was the right call, the right decision, which has pumped life into this Georgia Tech offense.
Now, if the referee sees that ball and thinks it might be a fumble, he's supposed to let play continue, which tells me he didn't see it, so that's why he rolled him down.
Well, if you're Georgia Tech right now, Paul Johnson has to be encouraged, because his first 2 possessions had 6 yards. Now he's come out and he's found success on the inside.
1st and goal. Maybe 2 for Sims, who has carried the ball a lot more in the last 4 games than he did in the first 4, as they've tried to shut down the outside run of Orlin Smith and Roddy Jones. So either he or Washington have been getting the bulk of the yards, although there haven't been that many yards in those last 2 ball games.
Now, this is where, at a point in the ball game, where you have to maintain your discipline defensively. Your job, your key, your role. Don't try to peek and find somewhere else to go.
Quarterback keeper Washington to the goal line, and just short.
Evan Washington on the carry.
I've always said that when the quarterback pulls it from the fullback going up in the middle, this midline here, they call it in the triple option, and he follows up in there. He couldn't get, Washington could not get to the outside, had to get up in the middle of the field. And in this ball game, as good as the defensive tackles and the defensive line is, especially on the inside with Moore and Thompson, Williams, Shatley, they're going to control the center and the guards of Georgia Tech.
Exactly.
I could see a lot more Tevin Washington following up after the feint.
They're really stacked in there now on 3rd and goal. Washington started left, goes back right, didn't have a chance. They just overpowered the Georgia Tech offensive line. What do you do here?
You got to find a way to get your interior guys to stop penetration and get it off of the tackle. You bring that A back. They're both wing backs on either side of the line of scrimmage. Bring them around.
4th and goal. No sign of a field goal unit. They need the length of a football. Touchdown, Orlin Smith. Roddy Jones threw him a block on the outside. That's the play they fell in love with the first 4 games of the year. Nobody could stop it. The toss to Orlin Smith. Well, you got to give them credit in their thought process. You weren't going to get anything up the middle, were you?
No, that was that A-back. That's that wing back. I said, bring him around. Get outside.
Moore for the point after.
And the kick is good.
Hello from Atlanta. 7-3 Georgia Tech over Clemson. It's homecoming for the Jackets.
Kicking off for Georgia Tech, number 86, Justin Moore. Deep for Clemson, number 2, Sammy.
Moore to kick to Sammy Watkins and Jerron Brown. Well, if I'm Georgia Tech, I'm thinking anybody but Watkins. They'll take it from the 11. And slam down at the 28-yard line. Allen bothered by a turf toe all year. Not much he can do about it until he gets a chance to rest, which will be after this season. Jen Brown has more on the big tight end. Jen?
Well, guys, Allen did miss practice on Monday because of that turf toe you just mentioned, Mike. He's actually been wearing a walking boot to try to give it some extra protection. If you take a look at his shoe, if you guys can get an angle on it, he actually cut a hole to relieve the pressure. So definitely something that's been bothering him and something for us to keep an eye on.
And, Jen, the problem for him, it gets worse as the game goes along. Bellamy, the speedster, out of Nocati, Florida. Sylvester made the tackle.
I used to think when guys would say they had turf toe, I'd go, man, come on, get tough, guys. Just football. All of a sudden, I got turf toe.
Then you had one?
I still feel it.
Yeah.
100 years later.
It's like minor surgery. It's always minor if it's on somebody else.
Third and 5 or less. This team is 70% on conversions.
3rd and 2. They have so many ways to get it. Now Allen directing traffic, and slow to get out there is DJ Howard. Boyd on the keeper, nothing doing. Boy, Georgia Tech so well schooled in what Clemson likes to do. Those guys are in the positions they are because they have studied all week and watched tape.
The fact that this 3-man defensive line is able to get penetration and come across, led by Cross and these guys, that just shows you how fired up and jacked up they are about playing this game, knowing that they have a chance to do something special that no one thinks they have a chance of doing.
High snap. They got it down. And Georgia Tech gets a fair catch at the 25-yard line. Only see if Georgia Tech can do something on offense.
Number 27,
as Preston Lyons gets the carry straight up the middle.
Well, this defense is going to have to win the game or win the quarter to allow their offense to get in it. It's been the offense so far this season that shines. Let's see what this defense can do.
That's going to be the final play of the first quarter here in Atlanta. 7-3 Tech. Boy, they got to be jacked up right now. Their defense has played exceptionally well. After one quarter of play, they lead 7-3.
From the 29.
Washington, option right, keeps. 40, 50, 40. Inside the 30 to the 25. Jonathan Willard chased him down from behind. That is the longest run this year for Tevin Washington.
You've got to
46 yards.
Maintain your job. Do your job. The linebacker, 34, Quandon Christian. You just see him jump out to the pitchback. He tried to take someone else's job. You've got the quarterback. You're in the alley. Make him pitch it or tackle him. That's the difficulty and the challenge of going against this offense.
There was already a defender out there to take the pitch man. He let the quarterback go, and it cost him. Fullback Preston Lyons up the middle.
On the carry.
Now, this has been an interesting season when you look at how Georgia Tech has rushed the ball. And they started out strong, went off the charts, green.
Second down and 5.
And then the trend has not been what Paul Johnson is used to.
134 against Miami, and that will spell doom for an option offense. Clemson shows blitz. Jones in motion. He gets the toss. Great block on the outside. Jones cuts it back. What a block by Embry Peoples, number 24. He just cleaned house on the corner.
Clemson's going to have to move. They're going to have to change their looks in the secondary because Georgia Tech's now able to go and block and knock them down traditionally. The old arc block. We saw early in this game the defensive tackles were stopping Georgia Tech, so now Paul Allen's attacking to the outside.
Peebles with a great block. It's 1st and goal, the nose of the ball just across the 10. Washington, quarterback keeper, thought he saw something, picks up a couple.
Tevin Washington on the carry.
And Mike, the reason I say you've got to change your looks, Paul Johnson loves a defense that says we're going to be basic. We're not going to make mistakes. We don't ever play against the triple option. If you just line up out there all the time, routinely, these backs and receivers will cut your legs underneath you.
Very effective blocking scheme for this ball club, especially for this offense. Jones on the toss. Or Smith, rather. He's down to the 6.
Smith on the carry.
Quandon Christian out of Lakeview, South Carolina, number 34, made a tackle.
In our conversations with Paul Johnson, the way he's thinking right now, he knows he's only going to get the ball so many times. He's not thinking 3. Paul Johnson's thinking 6, so he's going to call accordingly.
From the 6.
There is a point where he's got to think 3, but this isn't it. Washington back to throw under pressure. Throws for the end zone too high. Intended for Stephen Hill, but the pressure was coming from number 94, Rennie Moore. And on 4th and goal from the 6, they'll have to send on the field goal team.
I was thinking more on the ground, gaining 2-3 yards to set up a good 4th down opportunity to run it. But
Number 86, Justin Moore.
Washington has now missed all 3 of his passes. Moore comes on for a field goal try. He has struggled this year. Only 4 out of 8. And consulted with a great NFL kicker, Morton Anderson, who runs a kicking camp.
And the kick is good. And your score, Georgia Tech.
He knocks this one through from 23 yards, and Georgia Tech extends its lead to 10-3 over undefeated Clemson. Georgia Tech leading Clemson 10-3. Even though they are behind here in the second quarter, this Clemson offense is spectacular. They've scored 115 points in the last 2 games. They've averaged 483 yards a game for the season. Sammy Watkins averaging 174 all-purpose a game, and Tajh Boyd had 24 touchdown passes as opposed to only 3 interceptions. So they can change the course of a game in a heartbeat. But right now, the Georgia Tech defense is outplaying them.
nothing trick-or-treat or Halloween-ish about this offense. They're going to get you, and they will score. They'll get it going before this game's over.
Watkins back to the 26-27 yard line.
Sammy Watkins on the return.
Boyd in the shotgun. He's got DJ Howard with him. It's one of the youngest teams in the country. Howard, another freshman. The pass underneath to Watkins, and he slipped. That's a break for Georgia Tech because he got away from Isaiah Johnson, the safety, and slipped as he tried to go inside.
Now they changed the look up this time. Georgia Tech a little soft on the outside. They're not up there challenging.
6 yards.
And this is pitch and catch between Boyd and Watkins.
He's out of Fort Myers, Florida. Well, Georgia Tech's done a good job against the ground game as Howard is just swallowed up. Rashad Reed, the safety, came firing up to lead the charge.
The senior Reed and his secondary teammates are the difference to this point in the ball game. Their run support from back deep, coming up, filling the hole, putting that 8th body in the box against the run has been special so far.
But that means you can be vulnerable downfield, doesn't it?
Amen, partner.
On the 32.
Boyd screen, and Allen is tripped up as soon as he got the ball, and Rod Sweeting makes the tackle. He and Young have been terrific on the corner. I mean, this is not easy. You're talking about an NFL caliber tight end who's 255 pounds.
This is Al Grove. This is coaching Monday through Friday. This is recognition of plays, coming off from your corner spot over there, knowing exactly what Clemson's about to throw.
Zimmerman in the punt. Jamia Thomas.
Zimmerman to kick. Jamia Thomas is deep, waiting at the 25.
Nice.
Booming punt drives him back to the 12. And tripped up shy of the 20-yard line. Nice tackle by Adam Humphries, a backup wide receiver playing on special teams. An 8-yard return after a 54-yard kick.
With the tackle.
Can Tech run off one of those long, sustained drives? Washington gives it up the middle and barely got the handoff to Sims. Now for tonight's Aflac trivia question. Clemson 8-0 this season. Since 2000, only one ACC team has been 9-0. Who was that? Clemson trying to become the second. Right now they're down by a touchdown.
Now Clemson,
at Georgia Tech.
And Clemson has picked the mantle up. Florida State was supposed to be their bell cow this year that was going to run through the country. That didn't happen. Clemson stepped up, came off out of nowhere, and they have now gained the prestigious spot for the ACC.
First down, Georgia Tech. They are in the middle of one of these clock-eating drives. The toss to Jones.
Number 20,
And this is what makes them so tough to play against. They keep the ball. They grind it out. And as long as they have it, that brilliant Clemson offense can't get it.
There's no one in the alley. And the alley against the triple option is so important. That means coming up from the secondary. Quarterbacks take it away. There's the block on the outside. No one's there. It's good blocking. The receivers and the A-backs, the motion backs, are doing a good job of getting downfield, identifying the right person to block.
Talk about a good defensive coordinator. That was Kevin Steele. Working with a lot of young guys. And this is not, if you got a lot of young guys, this is not an easy offense to play against.
And the more success Georgia Tech has, the more thinking that Clemson starts doing. And you can't think. You know, every time that we watch Paul Johnson's offense go against the defense, when he gets them to watch and observe, they're in trouble.
Yeah.
Flat-footed.
They work on this all year. I mean, they know they're going to play Georgia Tech. So part of this practice and that practice and spring camp and summer camp. Here's the toss to Smith. That was very close to being a face mask as Smith is taken out of bounds. Looked like Rashard Hall got a hand up on the helmet.
If your responsibility is the pitch back, you better get out there immediately. And right now, there's just no one who is taking and able to get there. The blocks are happening before the defenders, whether it's a linebacker or a safety, can get over.
Right now, Georgia Tech has found its rhythm on offense. Maybe 2 for Sims.
Let me explain what you mean by rhythm. If you're watching a passing offense and a quarterback gets in rhythm throwing the football down the field, it's the same thing in the triple option offense when Tevin Washington, the quarterback, gets the rhythm of feeling the right reads, giving it, pulling it, pitching it. So you have to disrupt. Just like a passing quarterback, you've got to disrupt the quarterback's rhythm in the run triple option. Linebackers have to get in his grill.
Smith in motion, gets the toss. He's got great speed inside the 10. Another 1st and goal for Georgia Tech. That's the same play they burned him with earlier. He's got such great speed. You take away the fullback, you got to give something else up.
Okay, I want to show you here the number of linemen and black backs putting down the defense. You see bodies being cut. Defenders don't like to have bodies coming at their knees. And so they're right now thinking about guarding thighs as opposed to their responsibility.
1st and goal. Washington, quarterback keeper to the 3.
Kevin Washington on the
grinding it out, and then occasionally popping one for 15 yards.
tackle by number 12.
We've already taken 4 minutes off the clock on this drive and gone 77 yards. This is what Georgia Tech wanted. This is what Clemson was afraid of.
Yeah, and now this is where, in order to have a great season and to have a chance for the national championship, when your back's against the wall defensively, this is when you have to stand up.
Time to suck it up here,
championship.
Another toss. Smith. Touchdown. He's run for 2 touchdowns tonight, his 9th and 10th on the ground this year. Clearly inside the pylon, and a Georgia Tech player is injured.
Boy, this is a fantastic job of the A-back on the wing, getting his block. Phil Smith, the right tackle, getting outside with the block.
So far for the Yellowjackets, this is a pretty good homecoming. Paul Johnson said, hey, who invited Clemson to homecoming? Please. Justin Moore, the point after.
And the kick is good.
Sometimes the things you don't get work out better than the ones you do. He wanted a timeout.
I'm just kidding.
He didn't get it, but he did get a touchdown. That's not a bad trade.
Boy, Dabo's got his work cut out for him tonight. He's got to do some coaching over there now.
It's Georgia Tech trying to spring the upset on undefeated Clemson, up 17-3 as we continue Dr. Pepper's road to the championships. Clemson must feel stunned right now. Paul Johnson is not. He's getting exactly what he wants out of this offense, and maybe more importantly, exactly what he wants out of his defense. They have played lights out so far. The electric Sammy Watkins. Midfield. Good grief, can this kid fly? The kicker, Justin Moore, had to knock him out of bounds. People who play against him when the game's over say, he might be the best player in the country. And he just might be. He's in motion. We want to get him the ball on a toss. Will he throw? Watkins pulls up, throws a pass, complete for 10 yards. Well, we didn't know he can do that. Now if he punts and place kicks, he's perfect.
Well, you know what?
Watkins pass complete.
When you're a receiver or a running back on a pass, many times if it's not there, you tuck it and you run. Instead, Watkins throws a bullet.
Second and short. And they'll get the first down to the 28-yard line from Mike Bellamy. Now the answer to our Aflac trivia question, which was Clemson 8-0 since 2000. Only one ACC team has been 9-0. Who were they? It was North Carolina State in 2002. They finished 11-3 that season. Boyd with time, batted down at the line of scrimmage and almost intercepted. Ijan Cross, number 94, blocked it and had it for a split second.
Yeah, this is a nice job of Georgia Tech's defensive line of just holding their lanes and their spots and then jumping when the ball is released from the quarterback. I like that kind of strategy because if you rush hard, Tajh Boyd has the ability to run right past you.
Boyd with Howard with him in the backfield. Boyd with time to Watkins. He goes down immediately at the 22. That's going to leave him about 5 yards shy of a first down. Boy, Boyd's been impressive, too. His throws are right on the money, and they've got something on them.
Yeah, this is it. Now, here's what you have to worry about. Now, Clemson's got to make sure, coming out of this huddle, to identify your blitz responsibilities. Al Grove's been bringing someone from a different spot each time on third down.
Boyd with time out in the flat and threw it too high. Had Howard coming out of the backfield open in the flat. And Georgia Tech that time did what they said they would not do. They let Sammy Watkins have a free release from the line of scrimmage.
And they did not blitz. So that Al Grove gave a different look. He dropped 7 into coverage, had more bodies back there, and then poor body mechanics, footwork, poor foot mechanic work by Tajh Boyd.
For Al Grove, this is not his first barbecue. A 40-yard field goal try from Catanzaro. He's already hit from 34. And he missed it. Holy cow. Catanzaro had made 14 out of 17, including the 34-yarder earlier. Just what this crowd needed. Something else to get fired up about.
Ramblin' Wreck is feeling it. Clemson just has to hang in there. This is a critical series for Clemson's defense. They've got to come out and lift this football team and keep Georgia Tech out of the end zone.
This week is Dan Preston.
The disappointment on the face of Chandler Catanzaro after snap hooking a field goal attempt. And now Georgia Tech will try to burn up the last 4:22 of the first half. And they come out throwing. Tyler Melton with his 8th pass catch of the year.
Complete to number 84.
You know, Paul Johnson, this isn't his first barbecue either. And they know that they come out and Clemson's expecting run on first down, a high percentage throw that Tevin Washington has to complete. His last 2 balls he's thrown have been on the money. The one was dropped by Stephen Hill, but the other was completed.
fullback for a couple. That's Preston Lyons.
Lyons on the carry.
Of course, for Paul Johnson, every pass play is a risk with this offense. It really hurts you. Let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. It hurts you, of course, if you don't complete it.
This game here started off, and Clemson had a little bit of fire in them, but Georgia Tech quickly gained the control of this football game.
In the last 4 drives, the Tigers have gained only 37 yards against that Tech defense. Clock running under 3:45. 3rd and an inch. Quarterback keeper following his B-back.
Washington on the carry.
That's that midline there that is so effective, just for 1 or 2 or 3 yards. It's like giving the ball to the tailback with a fullback leading up in there for you.
To me, that's such a tough play for the fullback because he doesn't know if he's going to get the ball or if he's immediately turned into a blocker.
These linebackers and the safeties at Clemson have got to get active. They've got to become more decisive.
Need about another 25 yards to have a legitimate field goal try. Hill on the post. This one he caught. What a throw, what a catch. 44 yards. And Tevin Washington, for all the legitimate criticism he's taken the last 2 or 3 games, has put it on the money tonight.
Former Georgia Tech receiver Calvin Johnson makes those kind of catches, right?
Exactly.
Same kind of body size and makeup. This is all about Stephen Hill deciding he wants to be great. He's got everything except for the consistency going.
And if you play wide receiver here, that's the guy you're always going to be compared to. Washington inside the 5 to about the 3. Clock continues to run. 1:05 left in the half. And Georgia Tech just shellacking undefeated Clemson right now.
7 yards.
You look at the Clemson defense, hands on their hips. There's fatigue that's crept into this Clemson defense. They've got to suck it up, especially on the outside. Down here, the A-backs coming around for the pitch has really hurt them.
Washington, touchdown. I don't know if anybody saw this coming.
For the extra point.
Certainly not outside of the Georgia Tech locker room. More for the point after. (24-3). Are you kidding me?
It's like a schnauzer chasing a pit bull right now.
So Clemson's final opportunity goes amiss on what has been a brilliant first half by Georgia Tech. Here's Jen Brown with Dabo.
Coach, this is the largest deficit your team's faced all season. What do you say to your team right now in the locker room?
They're outplaying us in every area. They're out executing us. Right now, they want it more. So we got to decide what we want to do in the second half.
What adjustments would you like your team to make then?
Well, we got to line up and play. We turn the ball over, miss a kick. We're giving up outside plays on defense. We got a guy covered. We give up a big play. We just got to settle down and play. It don't matter what the score is. We got to play.
Thanks, Coach. Mike?
I love his honesty, Jen. At the half, our score, Georgia Tech 24, unbeaten Clemson 3. Now we send you to Robert Flores and Jesse Palmer for the Capital One halftime report. And we're in Atlanta, Georgia, where Georgia Tech is leading 5th ranked and undefeated Clemson 24-3 at the half. Welcome back to homecoming at Georgia Tech, everybody. All you can say is, wow, what a performance.
Before Clemson can get back in this game, they have to match the physical nature of Georgia Tech. First and foremost, Georgia Tech is taking it to Clemson. Number 2, You have to develop an it's us against them mentality. This is a team that has to fight their way back and find the heart and soul of their football team. They've got the talent and capable of coming back, but they've got to suck it up and get after it.
They came back from 18 down at Maryland in the third quarter. 18 points. But this is an even bigger test.
Sammy Watkins, number 18, Jerron Brown.
They could use the big return out of Sammy Watkins. He takes it at the 9. Sprints up the middle, drags a tackler with him to the 30.
This secondary at Clemson defensively has got to come up with their linebackers to stop this.
Clemson trying to get something going with Mike Bellamy, the freshman tailback. Let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary.
Number 40, Julian Burnett.
Yeah,
Stunning turn of events here, Craig.
And that 244 yards, the time of possession. Paul Johnson's team listened. They were calm and collected yesterday in our meetings. There was an air of confidence about them. I think they knew they had a chance and felt good about their opportunity.
Boyd throws and complete to Hopkins. Remember, Clemson came in here 12th in the country in scoring, 15th in total offense, 15th in passing offense, and Georgia Tech's defense has simply shut them down for a half.
It's one play at a time. Clemson, one play at a time. Run, pass, balance, and that's how you get Georgia Tech's defense on their heels.
Couple of yards there for Mike Bellamy. Let us tell you again, Andre Ellington with an ankle injury, unable to play so far tonight. There are the numbers on Sammy Watkins, the sensational freshman. Averages 102.4 yards a game, only has 29 so far. Got to be holding your breath if you're trying to defend him, though.
And remember, Georgia Tech wants to redirect at the line of scrimmage and not let them get vertical.
Blitz coming, they don't get there, and Tajh Boyd to Watkins. Hold your breath no more.
Touchdown pass complete to number 2, Sammy Watkins.
Al Groh says he doesn't catch the ball, he doesn't snatch it, he just takes it.
Well, he just took this one out of the air. The Al Groh decides to blitz, and they're picking him up. And remember what I just mentioned to you? Not allow the easy release, that they wanted to redirect and not let them get vertical. They gave him a clean release, and the result is 6.
How easy did he make that catch look? He catches the ball at full speed. He makes his break on his routes at full speed. Well, he is the real deal.
He's the real deal. And now that old Mo has gone over to Clemson's bench. Georgia Tech's offense, can they keep up the pace? We're about to find out.
It's Georgia Tech 24, Clemson 10 as we continue Dr. Pepper's road to the championships.
Georgia Tech, number 17.
Now you see why Paul Johnson wanted to limit the number of possessions by Clemson.
We mentioned Ellington unable to play tonight. He is not even in uniform. He's in civvies on the sideline. Roddy Thomas out to the Roddy Jones out to the 24-yard line.
It's up to Clemson's defense to stay in their lane, do their job inside and outside.
What kind of adjustment? The quick out to Hill. Got a couple before he's driven out of bounds.
Pass complete. The number 5, Stephen Hill.
That's okay.
Breland took him down.
I like that. And we've seen 3 different first down throws all completed tonight in this ball game. And that, again, gives that defense just a little pause on the outside.
You know, in some offenses, it's an automatic. As you know, you come to the line, you see the corner playing 7 yards off, you're going to throw it all night. How does Georgia Tech's offense respond after that quick strike? Washington with the keeper, maybe a yard, that's all. Andre Branch, we have called his name so few times tonight, was in there along with Jonathan Willard.
Here's how you stop it. This is an answer right here. You see the linebacker coming hard to the inside. That's how you get in there. Willard being aggressive. You can't sit back. Clemson's defense was on their heels the first half, and they were getting blocked. Get on your toes and come downhill.
After the first two possessions, Georgia Tech offense has been as advertised. They've moved it every time. Draw play, Washington got a great block, 40. Midfield, another great block by Hill. If you want to run the option, guys have to block for you. The other backs and the wide receivers, and boy, do they block.
Watch the angle and the quarterback draw of the guards, how they block out. Watch the two guards on either side of the center. Watch how they do this. And they turn their fanny to the hole. And they give and allow it to happen. The block by David Sims clears the linebacker safety level. And then Tevin Washington, an outstanding play call by Paul Johnson.
55 yards for Washington. Sims pushing the pile toward the 10.
Number 7, David Sims on the carry.
Now, Tevin Washington had some confidence issues going over the last couple of weeks. He's been hammered in the press and the fans wondering this and that. Tonight has showed up with confidence. You get confidence by making plays.
He had been making terrible throws. I mean, not just incompletions, but terrible throws way off the mark. Tonight, he has been spectacularly on target. Sims again. Huge hole, dives. No signal yet. The officials just looking at each other now. Touchdown.
Number 7, David Sims.
I think the officials are waiting to see if maybe the other guy thought the knees were down before the ball went across. There's the stretch, and it's a touchdown.
Yes, it
Boy,
is.
That a great effort. Great play calling by Paul Johnson.
Absolutely. Tremendous effort by this Georgia Tech ball club. Well, we asked how would they respond to that quick strike. They went 77 yards in just 5 plays. How about that?
How about Halloween weekend, little shootout in Atlanta. Triple option. Tevin Washington going against Mr. Sammy Watkins. Can Watkins come back and give him one more?
Yesterday, it was the mini 500 got rolling at Georgia Tech. It evolved from a fraternity prank where pledges had to ride tricycles around campus to something better, a funny homecoming tradition since 1969. Quite a challenge. I got a better tricycle than you do.
Well, we had a blowout on our ride to the game tonight. We came in on 3 wheels, too.
3 wheels, yeah. Ours is a little noisier than that. Watkins. Oh, he's just lightning up to the 32. There is a flag down.
And this is where the leadership of Tajh Boyd, as the quarterback of this unit, has got to get them to the line of scrimmage, get the calls from the sideline, and move them.
And this is where Chad Morris's hurry-up offense really comes in handy. You don't have to do something you're not used to. They run this hurry-up style all the time.
Yeah, and now for Georgia Tech, they've got to stay aggressive. Allegro can't change what he's been doing, and you have to make the adjustment as a wide receiver at Clemson to know what they've been doing and adjust yourself.
You saw Chad Morris on the sideline. This is the offense. He caught us. Watkins with another catch. He gets to the 45-yard line. Tajh Boyd with a perfect strike, 28 yards. Isaiah Johnson makes the tackle.
I like the way they're lining them up on the outside. They're trying to make and redirect. That's not redirecting. That's fighting through. Again, this is a freshman wide receiver who is fighting through the redirections, getting to the spot where the ball's coming.
Blitz coming. They pick it up. The pass complete, but Hopkins went out of bounds.
Pass complete to DeAndre Hopkins.
They'll spot it at the 39.
Now you just wonder, again, this ball delivered really crisply to Hopkins out there. Tajh Boyd's got a strong arm. He's got an arm capable of bringing this football team back.
Boyd down the middle, tipped and almost intercepted. It just hung in front of Isaiah Johnson. He couldn't quite get there.
This is one of those, it's like being in a dream at night when you're trying to run away from the bad guy. And you can't get away from him.
That's right. Just one more step. What a great analogy. Boyd over the middle. Hopkins down to the 29. This is the Chad Morris offense that he brought from Tulsa after only 1 year in college football. He was a star in the Texas high school ranks, a disciple of Gus Malzahn, and he brought this offense to Clemson. It's been shut down for the better part of the night, but they need it now.
We've seen Al Grove calling the blitz in this series twice and been late to the quarterback. Third time.
Flanker screen. Watkins, look at that speed. Holy cow. Two guys had an angle on him. Forget it.
Coming with a blitz from the outside over there, and this is a great call. And if that blitzer doesn't get in the way of the passing lane, the ball's completed. Then you've got the speed of Watkins. And methodically, from the 1 yard line, this Clemson football team's gone down the field in a hurry.
10 catches, 159 yards for Sammy Watkins. Option. Boyd did not get in. Stopped just shy of the goal line.
Just a game of inches, because Boyd is going to score, but he ran into one of his own teammates that slowed down his momentum. And why that's important is every second in this football game is important.
If you're going to do something in this game, you better do it quick if you're Clemson. Short. DJ Howard with a dive. They stopped the clock with 2 seconds left in the third quarter.
With the stop.
Defense number 92. Half the distance to the goal. Remains second down.
Second and goal from inside the 1.
Now you can see now all of a sudden they're calling
lined up offside.
Yeah. They saw that one.
Yeah.
I think somebody sent them a memo down.
Georgia Tech, 31.
15 minutes to go at Georgia Tech. Clemson knocking on the door, trying to mount a comeback. What a spectacular college football game this has been. We start the fourth quarter. Clemson trying to cut into a 21-point gap. No signal yet. Now they're... It's a touchdown. I don't know how you make that call 10 seconds after the play. So many things have happened on the ground while you're running in from the sideline to make that call.
Yeah, I guess a yard in, it's a touchdown, and Clemson has done exactly what they were supposed to do. Their defense gave them the football with an opportunity. They took it the length of the field. But I tell you what they've done is they put themselves back in this football game. And
they have indeed.
And now the pressure's on their defense to figure it out.
Wow, what a ball game. 31-17. Georgia Tech over Clemson. Early moments of the fourth quarter. It's a 2-touchdown game. Smith and Jones deep to receive. Orwin Smith dives forward to the 25-yard line. How Georgia Tech handles this drive will determine whether that was the right call or not to go for it. Wide open, down the middle is intercepted. Picked off by Rashard Hall. What a play by the Clemson defense. And Washington was just a beat late.
Wait till I show you how lucky Clemson's defense is. Stephen Hill is wide open. Clemson's defense has a blown coverage right side of your screen. They come up and they leave Stephen Hill by himself on the wide right side.
I mean, no one is over on the right side with Stephen Hill.
Washington never saw him. Now Clemson can pull within 7. Are you kidding? What a ball game. Roderick McDowell is in at the running back spot. To the end zone, intercepted. Jamea Thomas. Boyd tossed it up. It looked like Hopkins lost track of the ball. Holy cow.
Well, I tell you what happened was Sammy Watkins makes an adjustment on his route. He feels Jamea Thomas going back deep to the corner. So Watkins decides to check up, and Tajh Boyd didn't read it that way. He expected Watkins to continue on. Watkins has got to stay with that route and go up and use his athleticism to win that ball.
And all Thomas can say is thank you very much.
Right back where we started a couple seconds ago.
You don't think Georgia Tech's going to throw it this time, do you?
Whew. Number 7, David Sims on the carry.
You know what? Jamea Thomas and this secondary has played a fantastic game. It's one thing to be given an opportunity, but you got to finish the play. And that's what Georgia Tech has done given the chance.
Well said. These guys worked hard all week under Al Groh, who spent a lot of his summer studying this hurry-up offense on the internet, looking back 40, 50, 60 years to see the basis of what it was. Peoples on the toss across the 25 to the 27. Here's the list of unbeatens. Clemson and Stanford with major trouble right now. Clock running, 9:29 left in this game. Georgia Tech, a 3rd and 3. Washington, the keeper, had to reach the 30. He's on the ground, and the ball is laying on the 30. Where will they spot it?
It looks like a favorable spot.
The official from this side says it's on the 30, and it is a first down. That's another 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, I like the way, though, that play was set up. You had the fake motion, went back and set up, then came with the motion, and you're trying, again, to put Kevin Still's defense with their eyes over there watching instead of coming off the ball.
He did not like that spot, and I think they're lobbying. Having Dabo Swinney having explained by the official what happens if you challenge that.
You're going to lose it. You're going to lose a timeout. They don't need that. They still have quick strike ability.
Absolutely.
They can get back in this game. They don't need to panic.
David Sims on the carry.
I think you're going to see Tevin Washington on the back of one of his linemen. He's not down, and he sort of rides it forward at the end.
Deshaun Williams.
He's not down. He's got the ball across that line.
Hey, you know what? I think it's a good spot. Get back and play defense. Clemson's defense is doing all they can to hang in there in this football game. It's got to come down to 2 things. Defensive ends, the men get up the field, and linebackers hit hard inside on the guards to stop the inside game.
2nd and 7, the clock ticking inexorably. Sims again.
David Sims on the carry.
Every one of these 40 seconds, and they milk that clock. Coming up next, except on the West Coast, late local news over on ESPN SportsCenter after the conclusion of Wisconsin-Ohio State.
You and I going out trick-or-treating after this?
This be enough for me.
Would it?
This has been the treat.
Yeah, it has been a treat. And if you're Clemson, it's been a trick.
Yeah. But they're not completely tricked yet. 7:13 to go. They have to stop Georgia Tech, though. Toss sweep. And out of bounds. Pushing and shoving after the play. First down, Jackets.
One of the things you've heard from Paul Johnson the last few weeks is we just can't get to the perimeter. But the blocking has allowed that to happen. Fantastic job by linemen on the inside and the wide receivers blocking, getting people to the ground. Roddy Jones that time. getting his guy down.
That was a great block by Roddy Jones.
Man, I tell you, it's called an arc block, it's called a chop block, it's called a cut block, whatever it is, these receivers and linemen at Georgia Tech know how to do it.
And what it's also called is another 2.5 minutes off the clock. Sims again, running room, dragging Andre Branch with him.
And as, we heard just a few minutes ago Jim Brown with a report about that Clemson defense has been going to the bench, getting some air. So now the fatigue factor really comes into play.
You know, tonight, the combination of Paul Johnson's faith in this option offense and his quarterback's execution. Tevin Washington played very well tonight. And Al Groh's brilliant concept in this defense and what to do against Clemson's exceptional offense. To me, those have been the hallmarks of what this game has been. Washington milking every second. Gives it to Sims again at the midfield. The clock running. We're under 6 minutes. Almost 5 minutes off the clock on this drive. 7 plays, only 30 yards. Nothing else matters but the tie. Clemson desperately needs the ball, and right now they can't get it. 3rd and a long 2. Washington, first down.
It's just that midline quarterback run, so hard to defend. Clemson, when they're playing well against this triple option, has been successful with their defensive tackle. After the first or second series in this game, Georgia Tech's offense, especially the center and the guards, they fit their pads. They got confidence, and they started making those blocks.
How about Tevin Washington? 22 carries, 160 yards. Georgia Tech has rushed for 367 tonight. They are back after 2 subpar performances. Sims again inside the 40 to the 39. Let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. The much maligned Tevin Washington comes into this ball game. He's run for 160 yards.
4 yards.
Tajh Boyd has played exceptionally well at quarterback.
Yeah, but if you don't have the ball, you can't win. And remember, coming into this game, Paul Johnson wanted to limit to 10 possessions.
It's
they
been
have
11.
And they've been normally Clemson 17 or 18.
And he can live with 11.
Yes.
That may have been a busted play. Washington bobbled it and did the smart thing. Just dove forward, make sure he kept it. Look at that clock. It's down to 3:47 and counting. Clemson only has 2 timeouts left.
It's hard to name a unit that is the most valuable in this game because the offense and defense have worked together as a team. The defense came out in the first half and really played extremely well.
Is Georgia Tech ready to apply the final blow to Clemson's championship hopes? The undefeated season is on the brink right now. Tevin Washington, first down. He had played so poorly the last 2 weeks that Sinjin Days, his backup, was expected to get a lot of time tonight. Sinjin Days has not played.
Watch the center, the guards, the inside. Look at the cut blocking, the blocking down. I mean, this offensive line has paved the way. Fantastic. Look how they block down. There's no penetration. That's the midline quarterback run there. And the blocking for Paul Johnson's offense tonight has been unbelievable. And on the other side of the ball, their defense came and they established the physical nature.
This drive, Craig, this is remarkable. 7 minutes and 23 seconds when Clemson had to stop them, and they haven't been able to. Sims pushed back.
David Sims on the carry.
It's the personality of Paul Johnson being shown on the football field.
Yep.
That's their third and final. First time out of the game. 30 seconds.
Well, this Georgia Tech football team, the last top 5 team they beat was back in October of 09, 28-23 over Virginia Tech, who was number 4 at that time, and it was a homecoming game.
Clemson out of timeouts. Washington protecting the ball, picks up a couple. It'll bring up 3rd and long, but Georgia Tech really doesn't care. As long as the clock is running, that's really all that matters. Clemson is still down 2 touchdowns.
yard.
Yeah, this is one of those points in the game where ball carriers need to know they're going to try to have the second defenders in, stripping the football. Just hold on to it. Turnover is the only thing that can really help get Clemson back in this game.
One of the fascinating things about being a sport fan, if you're behind, this clock is going so fast you can't believe it. If you're ahead, it's barely moving. Washington. It'll bring up a 4th down. We're down to 2 minutes and 14 seconds. The 40-second play clock is running, and they will use all of it. Stay tuned for the Ford wrap-up after this game. Remind fans, or a reminder to fans, to log on to Ford.com/big-score for your chance to win a 2012 F-150. That'd be neat.
Well, I had to pay for mine, but that's what I drive.
From the 27.
Clemson, well, this isn't a game where Clemson is going to say, man, we just blew it. They're just going to have to look at it as it was. Georgia Tech brought a physical game to the match, and I don't think Clemson did.
Clemson's only hope, stop him here. Washington dives forward. He's going to be about a yard short. And it looks like Clemson will get the ball back with 1:29. What they're going to need here is 2 touchdowns in 1:29.
Well, here's what but you know what, Mike? They need 1 touchdown. They need 1 big play from Sammy Watkins to take it to the house, get the onside kick, and then they've got another shot at it. So when you look at what this team has done tonight for Georgia Tech, enabling them now to have a showdown with Virginia Tech if they hold on.
That's going to make that Thursday night game huge. Clemson would still have a game lead in their division. Blitz coming. Boyd unloads. Gets it out to Hopkins, and DeAndre Hopkins gets all he can. And certainly we have seen Clemson all year. They can score, even if you're playing in a prevent defense, they can score in a hurry. Then they would have to get that touchdown, try the onside kick, recover it, and get another one to tie. Blitz. Boyd unloads, and that skips into the hands of Roderick McDowell. Pressure by Georgia Tech has made the difference.
You know why? Because, and here's why Algro's doing it. If you let Tajh Boyd throw the football, there's a chance he completes it, and yards after the catch would eat him up.
Yeah, there's a chance he's going to complete it to Sammy Watkins, and that's not good if you're playing defense. 2nd and 10. This one's too high for Allen.
You know, in terms of the Heisman Trophy race that Tajh Boyd and Sammy Watkins ran, I had Sammy Watkins on number 3 on my ballot coming into this week. Absolutely. And I'm not going to take him off of that.
I don't blame you.
No, he won't. And I think what will happen now is those who are fans of Sammy Watkins and Tajh Boyd, they're going to drift over to Watkins and his side.
I don't know that I have ever seen a more impressive freshman receiver than Sammy Watkins. This pass too high, and it's picked off. Jamia Thomas with another huge play. Well, this kid has been spectacular, as has the whole Georgia Tech secondary.
Well, sometimes we're able to have a little vote in who the MVP of the ball game is, the player of the game. It's the defense in the secondary who had a heck of a ball game, but Jamia Thomas, 14, has been all over the place in run support and interceptions.
Spectacular. And Hopkins never got his head around to see that one. And now victory formation for Georgia Tech. What a performance by the Jackets. The last 2 weeks, they had really fallen flat. They couldn't do anything right on offense. Averaged only 14 points a game the last 2 weeks. And with this offense, you're not going to win that way.
I remember last Sunday morning, I was flying through Atlanta from Florida State, the game we had done last Saturday. Right. I bought a newspaper, and I read all these columns and comments about how poorly Georgia Tech was doing. And in the tank. The season woe is thee. They cured the ills in one night.
Yeah, they're going to have to write some different stuff this weekend. Well, the homecoming dance starts in about a half an hour. Hope you have a ticket.
Georgia Tech, 31. Clemson.
Dabo Sweeney and Paul Johnson. Boy, what a night for the Georgia Tech head coach. Craig, this was special.
It was special, and it will absolutely shake up. At BCS Countdown show tomorrow night, be interesting.
Where does Clemson go from here?
Oh, I don't know. I tell you what, Clemson's got to regroup. They can have a great season. This is a team capable of winning out. That's what they've got to focus on.
All right, our final score, Georgia Tech 31, Clemson 17. For Craig James, Jen Brown, and our entire crew, this is Mike Patrick. Thanks for watching, and so long from Atlanta. Now let's head back to Robert Flores in the studio. Robert.
Ohio State.